Hey guys, we're doing well today. In today's video I'll be giving my reaction towards all three games within round 5 of the Six Nations. So yeah, starting off with France versus Wales. What a game. I mean, that's probably the best game of rugby I've seen in a while. Probably the best game I've seen in the Six Nations in the last 5 years, to be perfectly honest. I mean, that was brilliant rugby. It ended up being 32-30 to the French. They crawled their way back into the game. Within the first half it was 17-all. Both teams were brilliant. It was end-to-end stuff really. With France getting the opening try and then Wales responding, and then just one after another. It was just, it was remarkable really. Within that first half, it was a steady contest. There were little mistakes, and the ball was like there wasn't any pauses at all. Like there wasn't any scrums. It was just all open field, and yeah, it was brilliant to watch. That was brilliant rugby to watch within that first half. But as soon as the second half came in, obviously, I'd say the momentum kind of shifted slightly, you could say, towards Wales' favour, in the sense where, they gained a bit of an advantage where, obviously, I think it was France who had the first yellow card within the game. And then, from there, Wales were able to actually, get a try. And I think they went up, 27-17? And then, they were at least, 10 points clear in that sense. And then, obviously, France did get a penalty, but then, gosh, the whole thing changed. I mean, the refereeing within the game was, as a neutral, I actually thought the refereeing was very good. A lot of people would disagree with me. I mean, you have Luke Pearce, which obviously a lot of people say, oh, he's from Wales or whatever, and that's kind of, he's swaying towards Wales or what. That's a lot of bollocks. That's nothing. I mean, look, I fully think that Luke Pearce and they effectively communicated with the TMO, who was obviously Wayne Barnes. Like, every TMO decision was perfect. In my eyes, I think they did it spot on. The way that they actually communicated to one another throughout the game, it's probably the best refereeing coverage I've seen throughout rugby, in my opinion. It was perfect. So that actually wasn't even my issue. The issue was just around how many cards there were. It was ridiculous. Towards the last 15 minutes of the game, obviously that's when it went end to end. It was pretty much 20 to France, and then 27 to Wales. So that Wales was still leading at that point. But then obviously France just couldn't get a try. They were continually trying to get a try. Then as soon as they got a try, then actually what happened was that they had to take it back, because actually there was a red card incident where one of the players, which was rightly looked at, actually, they said it was gouged his eye. So they first actually awarded it as it was also going to be a try first to the French, but then they actually came back to that and saw it was foul play. They were going to give a penalty to Wales, and then they were actually considering the yellow, but as soon as they looked more into the replay, they said, because it's not clear and obvious, and it looks like he's actually gouging into the eye, they gave French a red card. The French a red card. So that kind of changed the momentum in that sense, and that everyone, I think a lot of people like myself, actually thought that was kind of the end to the game. But France just kept on going, and credit to them, they definitely deserved to actually win the game, because from there they also got a try to their name, and I think it was Charles Albion who got that try within the right hand corners, and he did very well to get that. And then literally I think within the 80th minute mark, literally the last play of the game, France literally get a penalty. Well, Wales had the ball firstly, they had the ball, but then they gave it up for a penalty, and I was like, all Wales had to do was actually just hold the ball. But obviously they gave a penalty, France were able to kick it, make a few possession plays, then from there they were able to go down the left flank, and I think it was Penard who actually got the final try, and my gosh, so obviously they weren't able to convert that try, so it ended up being 32-30 to France. But wow, that's probably the best game of rugby I've seen in a while. So credit to the French. If I stand corrected, and you guys can tell me in the comments, because I definitely want to see your comments below. Tell me your reaction, because I'm buzzing from that game. But if I'm not mistaken, France actually still have a chance in actually winning the Six Nations title. So they've obviously stopped, Wales from actually winning the Grand Slam, which is ridiculous in that sense, and how Wales have been so, they've been brilliant throughout this whole Six Nations competition. But more or less, because they've obviously won the game, it now means that France actually have a chance of winning the Six Nations title next week against Scotland. So, and that's going to be massive in a sense where I believe they have to get a bonus point. So obviously that's 5 points they have to get. So they have to score 4 more tries. And to my knowledge, they have to at least score more than 20. I think the goal difference, I've seen from a lot of people within comments, like they said that they have to have at least 21 points or at least 21 points or more to actually go ahead of Wales within goal difference. So that's what I think France have to do. I might be mistaken by that, so definitely comment below if that's wrong or right. Just if you tell me, guys. But oh my gosh, what a game! I mean, literally like this video if you were just as shocked as me, or just if you think that was the best game of rugby, because I am truly gobsmacked about what I've just witnessed. I mean, that was brilliant rugby to watch, and yeah, just can't wait to next week. Next week, really. But anyway, moving on from that game. Obviously there was the second match before that, which was obviously Ireland versus England up here, and yeah, that was another brilliant game. I've had to say so myself. I mean, I think more or less a lot of people wanted Ireland to win that game purely because this was CJ Stander's last game, and Ireland they did the job. I mean, it was more or less like I think they really controlled the game within the first half. That's where they really controlled it, but within the second, that's where they really just closed it out. So if you really look at the score, they obviously did win the game by 32 points to 18. So they did very well to actually control the game. And even within the first half, they were up by 20 points to 6. So yeah, they were miles ahead of England in that regard, and how they had some good tries in there. Who was it? Henshaw got a try to his name, I believe. There was Keith Earls who got one as well. It was more or less they had different try scores, but my gosh, I mean, even Sexton to his credit, brilliant throughout the whole game. His kicking was up there. In my opinion, I think he's probably been I would put him as like my 10 for a team of the tournament. I think he's been brilliant so far within the Six Nations. So, and obviously, with CJ Stander, I mean, he finishes his career with a win against England. So what a way to actually finish it off. I mean, if you guys saw, I mean, even it got me a bit emotional in the sense where obviously the post match you can just see the amount of the importance of what he's actually gone through, the amount of emotion. He obviously got. I think he had a phone out at one point. So, obviously got some messages and listening from the family. So that's it's just the emotional. You can kind of get where he's coming from, and the reason why he's doing it obviously is to be with his family. So it's just one of those stories which credit to him, and he's had a brilliant career. So hope he has a good retirement, and but pretty much saying that. I mean, what a game. I mean, Ireland obviously got the win, and that kind of finishes their Six Nations campaign on a high. For England, on the other hand, this is not really the result they wanted. I mean, more or less they wanted to come out like what Ireland have done and on a high. But they now sit. In my knowledge, they now sit second to last within this whole competition, which is not where England really should be. It's for a country like England, and for the sheer quality of like their 15, they shouldn't be there. I mean, to be frank, so they've really underperformed, in my opinion, and it's one of those where they just have to improve, really. I mean, they just got to really improve. But obviously just going into the last game, which was the first game of today, which was Scotland versus Italy. I mean, Scotland just wiped the floor with them, really. They won at the end of the day 52 points to 10. So that was ridiculous in a sense where, I mean, Italy did actually get off the mark with Bigley, and he got a good try to his name. So I was happy to see that, because I have a soft spot for Bigley. I was like, he's obviously the captain of Italy, and he has that emotion you can see when he plays the game, and how he talks to the ref. I love it. But he obviously got a try to his name. But soon after, Scotland just came in and they just demolished them. I mean, Van der Merwe got 2 tries to his name. I believe Cherry got 2 tries to his name as well. And it was his debut game as well. So credit to him on that. I mean, they had one from Darcy Graham. I mean, one from who else? Hugh Jones, I believe. One from. Gosh, I mean, there's a number of players who actually did pretty well. I mean, even Stuart Hall, he was the kicker, obviously, for this match due to Finn Russell being injured. So credit to him, he did pretty well with his kicking. But overall, that's kind of what Scotland needed, to finish it off. And obviously they do go into next week's game on a high, and that's what you really want for the Scottish. They want to be as strong as possible, and that win against Italy definitely assures it for sure. Italy, on the other hand, obviously they will definitely want to look back on this. This is the second time now within the Six Nations which they've conceded 50 points or more. So that's something that Pino, the coach, will have to try to fix up. And to be honest, in my opinion, I think Italy actually played very well. I mean, it doesn't seem like they played well, but more I'm saying as an overall, I see there's slight improvements that they've made. Obviously, they have a few youngsters who they've developed over time, and yeah, I've been very impressed by them. But yeah, overall, they just weren't strong enough to beat the Scottish. But yeah, that's kind of it with the video. I mean, yeah, that's kind of just my instantaneous reaction towards all these games, including that belter of a match from France and Wales. And yeah, France have pretty much denied Wales a Grand Slam. So that's a huge deal. And yeah, this is just me. It's going to go down to the wire for next week, which is really what I wanted as a neutral. So this is perfect. But yeah, anyway, just comment below if you were, if you're excited as I am, and yeah, if you think any of the decisions from the refereeing was, questionable. In my opinion, I don't think it was, but of course, put your comments below. I'd love to see them. If you guys think that, tell me about CJ Stander. Do you think he's had a brilliant career? And do you think England have underperformed throughout the Six Nations? And do you think Scotland can actually, put a surprise in there and actually beat France? We'll wait and see. Anyway, just hope you guys enjoy the video. Definitely like, comment below, and I'll see you guys next time.